Hey, welcome back to Supercharged Fridays. This is, I don't know how many weeks now. It's about 3.5 years, exactly 3.5 years of going live here on Supercharged Fridays. I hope you are well. If you're watching and catching me live, drop in a hello in the chat so I know you're watching so I can call you out and say hi. I think I got a couple of minutes late without realizing. No excuse. I was just getting some iced tea. So yeah, this is a happy hour. I go live every Friday. As I said, I've been doing this for 3.5 years, and essentially, if we haven't met before, I'm a career coach, and I help people who are going through transitions in their career, especially on the job search side. And I do this through three ways. We have one on one coaching, we have group coaching, all of that. That's the first. The second is through digital courses and ebooks online that I have. And the third is content like this, like on my podcast, How I Got Hired, on my YouTube channel, and the live stream that I do every Friday, hashtag Supercharged Fridays, on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So lovely to be here. If you're catching me live, thank you for tuning in. I see a question that's already come in even before I went live. Hi, Chitra. Thank you for the question. I will definitely share my views on it. So let's get into it. How are you doing? How's the week been? And yeah, cheers to if you're watching me in the morning, if you're on the North America, South America side. Good morning to you. And if you're in the afternoon, I hope it's going well for you in the Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And of course, good evening in Asia, Southeast Asia, APAC. Cheers. Good morning. Hi, Margaret. Wichita KS. Is KS Kansas? Good to see you. Thank you. Lovely to have folks join live from around the world. Tell me which city you're joining in from, particularly if we haven't interacted before and I haven't seen your name before. It's really nice to, you know, see new, beautiful, gorgeous faces. Ruta, hi Ruta, did I say your name correctly? Good morning, good afternoon, joining in from the UK. All fantastic, fantastic. Copenhagen is in the house. We have a final year bachelor in technology student. Amazing, amazing, so cool, so cool. I'm so excited. Let's dive right in. Bangladesh, Toronto. Isn't technology amazing? Like, I will never get tired of this. And I'm so grateful that you're here. Let's get into it. New Delhi, Noida, Gurgaon. You guys are in my backyard. Fantastic. All right. Let's see. We have some questions already. I'll answer the one that I thought was probably the one that I think is not not really in my scope. But Nimesh, I'm not quite sure. Hiring is still ongoing in so many places around the world. I mean, check out what they're saying on the news because I don't know. I don't like to watch too much of the news, but just see what they're saying. Essentially, if the economy is contracting in terms of the GDP, then yes, there is a recession if that's happening 3 quarters in a row. If that is slowing down, then it's good. And if there is more growth, that's good. So that is the definition. But you can see the sentiment around you. And I don't like to read too much about the news because it reinforces negative beliefs we have. So I don't know how this should matter to you, Nimesh, whether it's over or not. You continue to do what you're doing. If you're actively job searching, you've got to do it. You've got to put yourself out there, networking, applying for jobs, all of that stuff. And if you're working, you're working. I don't know. I don't see it any other way. So fantastic. I'm going to answer this question that I saw that Chitra posted even before I went live. Chitra, hi. If you're watching, could you please put in the comment that you're watching? So I want to see that you're there, and I'm curious to see your response. So Chitra has a question. Very good question, I think. Okay, where did it go? Give me a sec. I lost the question. Oh goodness me, this is so weird. Okay, I'll tell you what the question was. The question she had was that she has signed her contract and she's going to start on the 10th of July. In the meantime, she just found out that she's 2 months pregnant. First of all, Chitra, congratulations. This is a big, big life event and it's a happy event. So I don't want you to feel stressed out or guilty or anything like that. Okay. Second of all, you were asking what you should do. Okay. Now, the answer I'm going to give is I'll give you a certain point of view and I'll also tell you what I would do in your situation. But take this obviously with your own priorities and preferences. Now, a lot of this would depend on the culture of the company you're getting into and how open minded they are. Because it's not that you are, suddenly like you lost your brain. It's not like you had a lobotomy or something like that. Or it's not like you had an operation where you're not able to function. You're pregnant. Life goes on. It's not a disability. Having said that, and even people with disability work full time, so that's not the thing. Here's what I would do. I would wait, Chitra, till 10th of July. I would wait to start. I don't know if they will revoke your offer or not, but this is what I would do. I would start and then tell them on day one and tell them that between signing and joining, you have just found out recently. And tell them that you remain committed and you will be for the next 6-7 months, right? And just see how that goes and see how it plays out. Do not get stressed out. Now, can they revoke the offer? Yeah, they can. If they're complete assholes. Pardon my French. So, what are you going to do? Okay? Just focus on what is good here and be happy for yourself. I wish you the best. Okay? This is a happy occasion and it should not be. It shouldn't be spoiled with feelings of anxiety or stress because I can imagine that you're going through that. Right? So, I wish you the very best. All right? Okie Let's see what else is happening. Hi, Nick. I hope you're doing well. Great to see you and your podcast going from strength to strength. And fab. All right. Harshit. Hi, Harshit. I'm working for the last 6 months and want to switch to a different profile. How do I do that? I only have 6 months of experience. Okay. Harshit, we can change whenever we want. That's not a problem. I think that the thing that matters is you want to be clear why you want to change, because I'm not quite sure if for every single person out there, 6 months is enough time to know I like this or I don't like this. Having said that, when you know. Okay. So how do you go about making a change? I would say do two things at the same time. You do your research, you find out, you read, you listen to podcasts, you watch YouTube videos, you read blogs, you read websites on the profession you're interested in changing to. The second thing you do side by side is find out if there are ways you can do some sort of project work, paid, unpaid, doesn't matter. It'll probably be unpaid if you're already employed somewhere else. And talk to people who are in those professions. This is a more active approach, but you also want to do the research side by side and see if these two are matching and if they validate what you're hearing. And yeah, take it from there. It's not that hard. People do this all the time. And I have resources online. I have a YouTube video on career change. I have a entire podcast, about 35 minutes dedicated to career change, a podcast episode dedicated to career change. And a lot of my podcast guests talk about career change all the time and they share detailed steps on how to do it. So I highly recommend you subscribe to the podcast and listen. It's free. So just listen and take ideas from people because they go from A to B and A looks very different to B and they're really all around the world and completely different professions. So I think you'll find that useful and I wish you the best. Hi Piyush, is 45% a decent hike to ask during these times? Piyush, yeah, I mean, I don't know why we focus a lot on percent increase, because when we look at percent increase, we are basing our current salary as the benchmark, which is not correct. Your salary should not be the benchmark. The benchmark should be the benchmark. What does that mean? What is the position? What is the value of this position? What is the worth of this position in the labor markets out there for this industry, for this function, for this geography, for this number of years of experience? You can find out, talk to friends who are recruiters, etc. You'll have a good idea and base it on that. But if you have to look at only from your salary point of view, yeah, I think 45% is fine. But it depends. Are you on the lower side? 45% is fair. If you're on the higher side, 45% is exorbitant. So I can't really say. You see, it's very relative. So yeah. Hi Ashok. How do you switch to job within 9 months? Why are you looking for a job change in 9 months? Okay. So as far as how do you make a switch, I just answered that earlier with Harshit. So if you're just joining me, catch the replay. So you'll definitely get some value there, Ashok. And in terms of how do you answer this, uh, I think focus on what are the skills you learned and you bring to the future role. Don't focus too much on the past when you make this answer. And talk about how there is a better fit and your skills are better aligned to the other thing you want to do versus the thing you have been doing. You can say that. That's a good place to go. And obviously, you need to elaborate a little bit more depending on what you're doing today. All right. All right. Hi, Tejas. I'm looking for a career in management consulting. Uh, there is a team offering a placement consultancy company. They'll be preparing case studies and all that. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna wait, Tejas, because I don't quite know what the question is. What are the factors to consider if a company is safe for job stability? I don't know if there's any such thing as safety in job stability. I don't know that anymore. I have been laid off 3 times. I thought those were safe jobs. Just be prepared for anything. Do not think there's a future and a lifetime that belonged to our parents' generation. Short answer, I don't think that any such thing exists anymore. Hi Sajid. 46% of hiring managers say there is growth. Thank you for the data. I think it's picking up as well, Sajid. I can see it. A lot of my private one-on-one clients are juggling the very end, advanced, either advanced interviews, final interviews, or negotiations in the last two. My one-on-one clients. And a couple of my group clients are busy with interviews as well. Everyone is busy right now. So that's a good thing. That's positive for sure. Hi Vijay, how can I help? Okay, you're working on like the petroleum side of things. Which competency enhancement practices for me can increase my job satisfaction? Competency enhancement practices sounds very fancy, Vijay. Not quite sure what that means. What are some skills that you need? Is that your question? Because I don't quite know. But in almost every job that we do, there are certain skills that we need, and those are related to communication, and communication is a big word. There's so many layers in communication: listening, persuasion, selling skills, dealing with ambiguity, problem solving, all of that stuff, right? That is needed in no matter what profession we do. And if that's your question, power skills, they call it soft skills. As far as other skills are concerned, particularly the hard skills related to competencies, technical skills, you can find out from your company, or you can Google that and find out for yourself. You'll get a lots. So prioritize on a couple of them and focus on them for the next couple of months. That's what I would do, because otherwise it's very overwhelming. You're like, what do I do first? And also a very good idea is to have a conversation with your boss and see what does he or she think about when they think about your next steps. How do you progress? Which direction? And then work backwards, reverse engineer on making that happen. All right. You're welcome, Sandeep. Thank you for being here. Which website or resources? Okay. Others, there's a lot of websites or resources which are very US focused, and I know they're not very helpful to India. Having said that, you can still check out glassdoor.com. That's a good place to start, but also kind of try out, like, just Google and see. There could be some forums or Reddit, Reddit, or subreddits which are focused on. You'd be surprised how many people share in these communities. So that would be a good place to start, but also speak with people. Speak with people who you know and say, I'm interviewing with such and such company, and this is the salary we have in mind. What do you think about this? We need to start making this a little bit more transparent, because otherwise it's like very taboo to talk about money, and that's a problem. It's because some will always have more and some will always have less. So yeah, good luck with everything. Hey Joe, how you doing? All right. Harshit, you're welcome. You're welcome. I wish you the best. What is the ideal percentage of salary that can be expected when switching jobs? Okay, I already answered that with regards to the earlier question about percentage increases. Hi, LinkedIn user. Tell me what your name is. I don't see your name. Uh, when you're underpaid, the HR team of the new company has been trying to switch to, before proceeding towards compensation discussion, are going through some verification of the pay slips, hikes, and bonus amounts, coming back to me with lots of questions. Oh dear. It feels embarrassing and frustrating when being underpaid. This would have been different if it's post rollout of the offer or the background. Okay, not quite sure what the question is. Okay, how do I work with Fiverr? I would say go to fiverr.com. You'll get lots and lots of information. Tejas is saying, should I join or not? Tejas, I'm not quite sure. Give me a sec. I'm going to have to find your question. Tejas, there's no wrong answer. There are no wrong decisions. It's whatever you choose and you make something out of it and then see what. Honestly, I will say as much as you can. Go for it. You will learn a lot. And management consulting is very rewarding. You learn so many things in such a short span of time. So I think do what you feel like. Are you excited about management consulting? Do it. If you're not excited about it, do something else. That's what I would say. I woke up early. Hello. Good morning, Dan. It's 5 in the morning. Good Lord. I hope you're well. Thank you, Zakir. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Thank you for being a listener. Glassdoor gives a very low salary number. Check out Payscale as well. Payscale. Payscale.com. Like I said, nothing compares to speaking with people. Hey Rahul, I have 7 years of work ex. Then I moved to Europe to work and I got hit over my designation. I don't quite understand. I got a hit over my designation. I was a designation as a senior, but when I entered through an intermediate level, what would you suggest for me to get back to senior, even beyond, while discussing with my current manager? I would say just ask, but make sure it's not only coming from a place of ego. Titles are important, don't get me wrong, but also ensure that the work you're doing is corresponding to the senior level. I would have this question saying, I came from the senior. I know I really enjoyed everything that came with it. More responsibility, more perks, more salary, of course. And what are some things that I can do to ensure that I get at that level? I would have that conversation. It's important. It's for your future. All right. Levels FYI. Thank you. I was thinking about this. It wasn't coming to me. It was escaping me. Sajid, I appreciate it. Check out levels.fyi. It's just that I find a lot of salary related pay grades tend to be quite North America driven, but it's a good place to start. Hi Shiva, I have a gap of 10 months and I'm applying for jobs. I'm not getting calls. I've done an HRBP role, reporting role. Okay, I understand. In the interest of time, because I don't want to be online for too long right now, but I understand this, Shiva. So you also want to, you want to make sure it's good that you're applying to roles, etc. But if you're not getting calls, it's like you're asking me, it might be time to verify what is the reason for this. Are you applying to roles that are not correct for you? Are you applying to roles with a resume that is not doing justice to your qualification, your skills, your work experience? What is happening? Because I tend to think that it could be the latter. It could be that your resume is not working harder for you than it should. So it might be worth just checking out. I have an entire playlist on YouTube dedicated to resumes and LinkedIn. So take advantage of that, because I can understand how frustrating it is. I know this from experience myself. And it could be really there is a paucity of jobs. It could also be that there are a few changes you need to make on your resume that do more justice to your background. Good luck. I wish you the best. Definitely um, binge watch, because I have playlists dedicated to this and it's all for free. There is a playlist called How to Get a Good Job Fast. There's a playlist on interviewing skills. There's a playlist on, salary negotiation, but that comes down later, right? If you're not even getting calls for interviews, check out How to Get a Good Job Fast and that playlist and the playlist on resumes on LinkedIn. I've spoken to amazing LinkedIn and resume experts from around the world. And I bring this to you every week and I bring this for free. So please take advantage, because sometimes people come in, they ask for advice. I share so many things and I share resources. There is no change. They go back and there is no change. Why? They didn't do anything. That's frustrating. I know this because I see some familiar names again and again. I'm not saying you're one of them. So it's about taking the steps and making the necessary changes, right? So I wish you the best, Shivakala. Hi, Adarsh. Should we reveal our past salary? I would say I know. Adarsh, this is not ideal. I think it's a very shitty thing to do when you're being interviewed and people want to know how much you were earning. I used to do this. I'm gonna be, upfront about this. I used to do this in the past, but this was the norm. I don't think it's a good practice, because it is treating your past salary as the benchmark, then they'll give you a 10-20% increase. Not ideal, because they already have a budget for the position. So, as far as you can, avoid sharing your most recent salary. Instead, focus on maybe sharing, if they ask you salary expectations, you can give a range based on your market research, or you can say, maybe it's a bit premature for me to be discussing numbers. Why don't we get to that conversation when the time comes? They do want to know, because they don't want to reach the end and it turns out you're too expensive and this whole thing was a waste of time. I do understand where they're coming from. So but just remember, the first person who shares the number tends to lose, as Chris Voss says in his book Never Split the Difference. So check out this entire playlist on salary negotiation, because it's sitting there, and I share some of my videos are 4-5 years old, but the I know this that the advice in there is classic, universally applicable, no matter where we live, no matter what industry, almost all industries. So yeah, good luck. Yeah, Glassdoor can feel a little outdated. It depends. For some companies, I do see more recent, right? So Uh, hi, what is the scope of data analyst and data science? Not quite sure. It's a very specific question, Jagdeep. So focus on what you're interested in and also see read some blogs on this. I'm not quite sure how to help you, because it's a very specific question, not widely applicable right now to what I'm doing. But data has never been more important, right? Data, AI, ML. I would like to request some crisp tips or tactics on negotiating with fixed pay component. Mm-hmm. I love that. LinkedIn user. Have you seen the negotiation videos on my YouTube channel? There is one video with 10 crisp tips and tactics. 10, not one, 10. And there is another video with 7 tips and tactics on how to answer the question, what are your salary expectations? That's 17 tips. Check those out. If you still have questions, join me on my LinkedIn Live on Friday and I'll help you out. All right. I'm an IELTS trainer. So IELTS, for anybody who's wondering what it is, oh my goodness, it's like TOEFL, right? What is this? What is the full form of IELTS? Uh, International English something something. Multiple offers. Do you want to switch, LinkedIn user? What do you want to do? Do you want to switch? I'm not going to tell you what to do. Do you want to switch or you want to stay? Do you want to stay or do you want to go? I want to switch my career from engineering to banking, as the job market in my country is very poor for engineers. I see. I would say focus on your interest when you're answering this question, PD, instead of focusing on the fact that engineers aren't paid well. Focus on where you're really interested. I'm sorry that this is the case, but just make sure that you are coming with this belief that the market is very poor. Make sure that you know what you're talking about, because you're making a very big statement. Could it be that it's a different city, it's better? Because engineering is hard. I'm not saying banking is easy, but when we make those kind of statements, we are telling ourselves, I know this is it, there's nothing else. Just, I would say, just confirm that. Good luck, Shiva. I wish you the best. Hey, Shannon, is it okay to ask them what the budgeted salary range is? Yes and no, Shannon. Yes and no. I think it's a very routine and a normal thing to ask. Now, why do I say yes and no? It's routine and normal. But on the other hand, it depends on how the other person takes it. Sometimes recruiters, like they could be also living in a country, they could be living in a city where they might even ask you, what is your current salary? And in your city or in your state, that is a question that is actually illegal, right? Now, sometimes they ask because they didn't know it was illegal, or they ask, but they know it's illegal and they're just being a pain. Um, how you respond matters, because if you respond with a kind of telling them, is that the right thing you should be doing, isn't that inappropriate, or we sometimes I've seen candidates schooling recruiters on what they should and what they shouldn't say, that person will get turned off, and then I think it might be the end of the conversation. So the reason I say that is, like me, for example, when I was recruiting, when I asked the question, I wanted an answer. I didn't want another question. Everyone is different, right? And I'm very careful when when you see videos or you see content on LinkedIn from coaches who say, this is the way it is, this is how it should be. I get it, but the should is very different sometimes from reality. And you don't know how the recruiter is going to take it. Some recruiters don't like snark, or they don't like too many follow-up questions. They just want like question and they want an answer. So you could say, I understand where you're coming from. I understand why you're asking me my expected salary. Could I check with you what the budgeted range is? And I can tell you if my expectation falls within that or not. Just say that. And they will smile. They know what you're doing because they're used to this. They know that the candidate doesn't want to reveal their number. So it's not a big deal. All right. Good luck, Shannon. All right. If they ask you your salary, I understand, Sharon. You can still use the answer I shared with you. Kido. Darsh, I see a question and then I see a follow-up. I'm going to answer that quickly because I think you've asked already. Just give me a sec. Did I miss anything? Ayush. I've often got a suggestion that my resume should have some quantifiable data. Okay. Ayush, think about how you helped the company. Did you help them to make more money directly or indirectly? Did you help them to save more money or save time? That would be a good place to start, right? And I definitely highly recommend that you have some quantifiable data. It doesn't mean that you have it everywhere, because I don't want you to appear like robotic, like just putting numbers for everything. But I would say as much as you can, and wherever relevant, for sure. Does it make sense to benchmark Indian market salary data when converting to the? No, I don't think so. Yeah, for purchasing parity, you have to see apples with apples. You have to see the salary in India for India, to see the salary in the US for the US. Not, do you know what I mean? Not look at the salary in the US and just convert it into. You got to see the PPP for sure, for sure. Hey, Jasmine, can I select no? I mean, when a question starts with, can I do this? Can I do that? I get nervous. I don't want to tell you what to do because you have a very good idea. You have an inner compass that's telling you. Anyway, can I select no on an application when they ask if they can contact a previous employer? I have not. Oh yeah, yeah, Jasmine. Can they contact a previous employer? It is up to you. If you're not comfortable, this is very common when people are currently employed. Obviously, they don't want to. But previous employer, if you haven't been in contact with anyone since you left 4 years ago, but you think, because you will probably have to give a couple of references. If you have references in other companies, I would sort of let them know. But usually this is a very standard application form. And if you are okay, if you're not okay with them reaching out to someone in your previous employer, no is absolutely fine. No is absolutely fine. Hey, Margaret, if you've been ghosted by a recruiter after sending a resume, should you circle back months later and try to connect? Okay. 100% yes, Margaret, but I have a problem with one word in this question. I'm going to wait for you. Can you think what is the problem I have a word with? What is the word I have a problem with? There is nothing wrong with your question, but I have a problem with one word. Can anybody watching, including Margaret, tell me which word do you think I'm thinking about? If you've been ghosted by a recruiter after sending a resume, should you circle back months later and try to connect? What is the word? Actually, there are two. The second one is minor. The first one is a problem for me. While I wait, let me see if I can get another question. Hey Saurav, how are you doing? Is it okay? Is it okay if I do this? Ooh. Hi Ram. Okay. Not to mention short experience like 2 months. Yeah, it's perfectly okay. Not to mention, I worked in a company for 2 months. It never went anywhere on my resume. It was my first job. It was so. It was such a small experience. Sorry, I have a itch on my nose. It was such a short experience. I didn't know what I was doing. It was in online online ad sales. So no, I don't have a problem with ghosted. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why ghosted happens. Margaret, everybody has ghosted someone in their life. Everybody. I don't have a problem with that. You have probably ghosted someone in your personal or professional life. Every one of us has done it. No judgment there. Joe has Joe has hit the nail on the head. Months. Now what's done is done. Okay, Margaret, what's done is done. So it's not about making you feel bad. But if this word, I hope it doesn't happen again in the future, but if it does, I would contact them 1 week later. No, you didn't hear back, I would contact them another week later. If you don't hear back, last, third, and final call. So my 3x3 framework, 3 times in 3 weeks, and then leave it. Forget about it. Oof, I'm running low on battery. And then leave it. But never wait this long. But and at the same time, better late than never, you can definitely reach out. That's the first problem I have with it. The second problem I had with it was a small thing. Try to connect. Don't try, just do it. Yoda, you do or you do not. There is no try. Just connect on LinkedIn saying, hey, we used to be in touch. We were in touch a while ago. If okay with you, I'd love to connect here on LinkedIn. And then leave it. And if they don't even accept that, screw them. They were never meant to be in your life. Wish them well. They can go to hell. Hope that rhymed. No, I'm kidding. They don't have to go to hell. Just wish them well. Some people aren't, you know. You did follow up 3 times. It wasn't meant to be, Margaret. I'm sorry. So many things could have happened. They could be asses. They could be stuck. They were waiting for someone to hear back, or the position got closed, but they didn't have, they didn't have more information. Some people don't like conflict. They prefer avoidance. So I'm sorry that happened. But you know what? What's really important is even that 3x3, whether it's months or whether it's weeks, no matter how many times you followed up, it's very important that we don't wait for people to get back to us. Waiting precious time. No, we keep moving because nothing, even like clients of mine who are so close to signing the offer, they've kept things on hold and a new recruiter reached out and they're like, no. I'm like, hey, you are not doing that because until and unless you have 2 sets of signatures, nothing is set in stone. Okay. All right. Hi, Bhuvana. To negotiate salary with an existing offer in hand, how do you sound that you don't want to consider the first offer? So Bhuvana, you gotta share your preference. What is your preference? If you don't want to consider the first offer, then say so. But obviously, you're gonna see what's in your best interest for sure. All right. I thought I was done. I have a couple more questions. Let's see. But I'm really grateful that you're here and you're watching. Really appreciate you. Sergeant, will AI lead to layoffs? Oh, this doom and gloom question I'm seeing so many times. I am by no means an expert on AI. Lots of people who are watching probably know more about AI than I do, all of them together. What I'm hearing and watching and seeing people say around me, so this is second-hand information, just like with something new, it's important to get those skills. I think the type of jobs we're going to see more of will change, and some roles that are less relevant with this technology will die. I think that's normal. It's with any type of automation, right? It's very normal here when you're going from Belgium to France. You have the toll. You have to pay every couple of 100 kilometers, and that helps to keep the roads in very good shape, the infrastructure. There used to be people. In all these countries we've seen, all the countries we live in, there used to be people managing the toll. Now it's all automated. You don't see a single person. Yes, those jobs are gone, but they're different quality jobs. So I would say, as long as the quality is going up. And could it result in some layoffs? Yeah, for sure. For some roles that are redundant, but you will still need that human intervention. All right. Okay, Margaret, I appreciate it. Hi, Najam. Thank you for being here. How can I help? What mindset change is required to take an interview as a sales call meeting and not as an exam, especially in your early career? What is a mindset change required as a sales call? I mean, I don't quite know if it's such a drastic change. It's just like you're taking an exam and you're speaking with someone in an interview. Exam, it's, you have a lot of mental information that you have to disseminate with your pen and paper or laptop or whatever. Interview, you have an elevated sense of energy. You're in performance mode. Exam is usually between you and the laptop or you and the paper. An interview is with a person. So it's like, yeah, be you, but be 5 or 10% stronger, higher level. Be ready to be on your feet, meaning curveball, something unexpected. How do you handle that? So I have tons of interview prep resources on my YouTube channel. But I don't think it's so much about, I don't think if this is the question that you should be asking, I think it's more about how can you be best prepared for interviews as someone early in their career. That is, I think, what it's about. And for that, I have so many resources, so many free resources online, including PDFs that you can download for free. So I would take advantage of that. All right. Okay. Good luck. People using AI will. I know this is the quote that's going around, but it will replace some jobs, Sajid. I'm pretty sure. Some jobs that are less relevant now. There are some companies that are talking about a couple of even online creators, right? So even people like Vishen Lakhiani, who is the founder of Mind Valley, they have said they've stopped hiring more copywriters. They had in their budget, but they stopped hiring because creating months and months of content in 10 minutes, AI can do that and highly customized. So yeah, there are jobs that have been, stopped and replaced with AI. But there is someone who's checking that. So that person knows AI and they're checking with, for example, prompts, chat GPT prompts, for sure. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Okay, last question. Interview is a conversation. Joe is my pal. If you prepare, you don't have to. Champion Joe. Amazing. Okay, last question of the day, and then I have to go. I really appreciate this, Joe. Thank you. Bhuvana, last question of the day. If the priority is to take the new offer and the existing offer in hand is not a great one, how do you take advantage of the existing offer with the new company? You can share. You can say everything is great. I'm really excited about joining you. And that other offer you have gives you leverage. So you can say, I have another offer in hand, and this is the money that they are offering me. Is there a way you can match it? Ask the question. Ask nicely. Do not put it on their head like a threat. Because when people do that, recruiters can become wary, right? All right. Fantastic. Thank you for being here. You're very welcome, Sajan. I am glad you're here. Thank you for being here. I shall see you next Friday at the same time. June is going by fast. June is going by really fast. Oh, by the way, I'm going to be launching a 3-day masterclass on all things job search sometime early July. So just watch this space. And I look forward to, welcoming as many people as possible. So it'll be probably, I think, something like 7th, 8th, 9th July, something like that. So just watch this space. And following that will be a group coaching program, something that I started in April, and I'll be doing this again in July. So take care of yourselves, and I shall see you next Friday at the same time. Wish you a lovely Friday and weekend.